While Teresa is getting my PowerPoint ready, if you would look in your packet and get out this sheet, we're going to refer to it, the North America Globe at NSTA, and then the sheet that says Globe International Advisory Committee.
Now, do you want me to run this, or are you going to run it?
No, I'm going to let you run it.
Okay.
I'm going to let you work for me.
Okay. Well, I just want to make sure and give Marcia the grand introduction then. Your Globe International Advisory Committee representative, Marcia Willis, will take it away.
Thank you so much. It is so good to be here. I have missed one of these meetings, and that was last year when we were in Philadelphia. But I did make a video for you all and showing you snow in Texas. So, and we had snow again this year. It's interesting how the climate is changing and affecting us. First of all, it is good to see so many faces that people that I consider friends. And Karen, I just met, and welcome aboard. And I'm just so glad you all are here. And I think what we need to do is give a round of applause and appreciation to Bill and Carol for hosting last year's meeting. It was fantastic, and there is so much work involved. You wouldn't even believe it. So thank you so much for doing that and for all your dedication to Globe. Okay, so we have a few pictures. I'm going to give you a very brief overview about GIAC. But I did want to share, just real quickly, a picture. In particular, this one. There was a lot of things going on at that conference, and this one happened to be when we had a little bit of time off after a busy day, and several of us went to the Calgary Tower, which is, you can see there in the middle, and they have part of the floor that's all glass, and you can walk out on it, and it appears like there is, you're just standing there in air. Well, some people could not handle that, and and so that is Mitch and Nan on their bellies crawling out over and looking down. And so I had to share that because it was an eventful time. Okay, so let's move on. Oh, I'll get to that. Thank you.
Next slide.
Yeah. And I'm having a hard time seeing from here. Okay, so.
This is working now, so why don't you give it a go?
Okay, so I can look at this. So let me move so I can see. So we have representatives from around the world. We have Africa, Asia, Pacific, Europe, Latin America, the Caribbean, Middle East, Africa, North Africa, and then us, Canada and the United States. So there's one rep from each of those regions, and then there's an alternative. Okay, and so for some reason, if I could not go to a meeting or represent you, then the alternate, which is Lynn Eyre, for me would attend a meeting. Okay, and so there's alternates for each region, and that seems to work out really well. That way we know we're covered internationally. Okay, next slide. This is probably where you want to go and look, because I took a lot from here, and I'm not going to read this. It's small, and there's so much information in here, so I want you to refer to this. I thought I had a picture there. No? There it is. Okay, so here are our members. Raj, right here from the Asia Pacific, was the chairman of the group. And at our meeting in Calgary, we nominated and elected a new chairman, and it is Mark right here. And many of you would recognize Mark because he was very prominent in South Africa when we were down there for the conference. Okay. Amelia, is that how you say her name? was an alternate for Maria del Carmen. And if you want to turn to the next slide, this is Maria. You may recognize her. And she passed away in December. We're sorry to say. And that's her down there in South Africa when we had our final hoopla. It was wonderful. Anyway, they're going to be having elections when?
Their elections are happening right now, much as yours have in the past. It takes months. So right now they're in the nomination position where they have right now 4 nominees from 4 different countries. And at the end of March, they will then have their election and have their new GIAC representative and alternate. So these positions are very important. They're elected, and we really appreciate everything that they all do. Next slide.
Okay, yeah. So we have meetings several times a year. We have 2 formal meetings. One happens to be face-to-face. That took place in Calgary. It'll take place again when we have our meeting in D.C. And then we also have virtual meetings. And that was held in January this past year. If you look, that's when this was updated, was after that virtual meeting. Okay. Teresa's already mentioned Basecamp. We use Basecamp as well. And I thought I would just throw in a quick picture of the page and kind of what it looks like. If you're not familiar with Basecamp, it's a great management tool. And we use it where I work as well. And so I'm very familiar with it and glad we're doing it with Globe. So we can send back communications. Teresa can send us questions, and we can send in replies or whatever, and it's very effective. So thank you for doing that. Okay, next slide. Here's our North American representatives. Our very first one, Mike Odell. I want you to stand up. Mike was elected, and he served as the alternate chairman for the entire group. Okay, so, and then we had Paul Rusher from Florida. Here I am, 2010, 2011. Lynn from Arkansas, who is going to join us later on Skype, will be your next GIAC rep, and Jerry Cobbs. So in 2012, we will have another round of elections. Okay, so be thinking who you would like to nominate or if you would like to take that position. All right. At our meeting in Calgary, we had our sponsors there, and John and Ming Ying and Christos are there. It's hard to see with all the lights on, but you are there, John. And it was good because they got to hear a lot of our concerns and be involved in our discussions throughout that meeting. So it was very good that you all participated in that. Next. Okay, some things that we have discussed. Looking at evaluations, and you even noticed that you're doing a survey on this meeting today. Evaluation is very, very important with Globe. John's already talked about the web design and how important that is. We talked about the ESSPs and how we might utilize that more and with our training. We've done some revisions on our mission statements, added a few more words to make it even stronger and have a larger impact. And we talked a little bit this last year about because Donna was there, about the climate campaign. And then, like I said, we've elected our new chair, who is Mark. Okay? Now, moving forward. Today we're going to be talking about the Master Trainer Program, critical topics in K through 4. I think that's on our agenda. A website again, and the ESSPs, funding and using the data. I know from my personal experience down in Texas, they love doing Globe, but getting them to input and use that data, they just don't do it. And I don't understand why. It's very prominent in Europe. I mean, if you look at the stats, that's where all the data is coming from. And I think maybe as a group we need to come up with some solutions or at least some questions to ask, why aren't you doing this, and then move forward from there. Okay, next. All right, and so I just wanted to make sure to thank you to keep up all your work. I know as partners, I have 4 minutes. As partners, you have a lot of things to do for Globe, but you also have other jobs. And so we appreciate you so much. It's not just getting out there and doing the training, it's those reports that are due. It's just a lot of work for you, so we certainly do appreciate it. And here is Nan and Teresa in their new headquarters here in Texas. Here's a training I was doing, and got to do some Globe training on a private island down in Belize, which was really fun. So in the top right-hand corner, we were working with the Secchi discs, and this is the town lake in Austin, and we were doing some water quality training there. So just lots of things going on. That's protected, those boots. Yes, they all had on their boots and practicing good safety. Okay, I think that's the last slide.
Well, one thing I think that would be very nice is to also add that right now the GIAC, they're doing what they do every time we have an annual conference as well. They are providing input on the agenda and the overall flow of the annual conference with us. The GIAC is discussing their input and how they will, integrate in with all the activities at the annual conference, and this is the one in Washington, D.C. coming up in July, remember. And so one thing I want to just remind everyone that please take the opportunity to talk to Marcia about concerns or things that are going well, and because these are things that Marcia can bring back to the committee and discuss with everybody. Things that you'd like to see at the annual conference, for example, you can always give that input to us as well. But again, Marcia's waiting and eager to hear anything that you have to say too, so that she can share it with the rest of the representatives on the GIAC. So I just wanted to add that little plug. I hope that's okay, Marcia. And so maybe we have how many minutes? 2 minutes? 1 minute? 1.5? Okay, so if anybody has any questions, this would be a good time for questions to Marcia. None? Well, then let's give her a big round of applause. Thank you.